could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. Hello, everyone. Today we're meeting Cat Valentine. She's a trainer, a coach, and a transformational mentor. She has her own company and the hub for other coaches to come together and have the connection as well as the opportunity to be coached by Kat. And I want her to start exploring, talking about how he became the mentor and how she came to the place where she's at right now. Hello, Kat. Thank you for joining us today. And
hello, Anna.
Thank you. And let's start a conversation with your story. How did you become that person? What inspired you to be coach? And also, how did you get those ideas in the first place?
Thank you. Yes, well, I had a very successful business, ticked all the boxes, uni, marriage, kids, successful business. And after 30 years, my marriage ended. And that was pretty cataclysmic, right? So I fell into a bit of a hole at that stage. And I was completely lost. Felt like I'd lost all my identity. I'd spent so long facilitating everyone else's lives, like my partner's lives, my kids' lives, the people, our employees' lives, like everyone, the tuck shop, the canteen at school, whatever. I was busy doing all of that. And suddenly I was on my own. And for felt like a long time. It was probably about 3 or 4 months. I honestly, I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to live. And I would go to bed every night, like hoping that I wouldn't wake up in the morning, because I just didn't want to live the life I was living with this emptiness. And then I'd wake up and I'd burst into tears and just dread the whole day. And little by little, I found workshops and people, and I started to heal. And I started this work for me to heal. And what I discovered was that I loved this work. And I became really adept at facilitating change in other people's lives and sharing it with them. And then I started through probably now about 6 or 7 different modalities, became a trainer in these modalities and trained people who were coaches. And what's so beautiful is I noticed that probably 80% of people, 85% of people who come to the courses do it because they've had a cataclysmic event in their life. All right, they do it for themselves and they get the coaching qualifications as well. And then they do what I did and went, I want to share this. Like, this is so transformational. Everybody needs to do it. If I had $1 for every time I heard that. And so what I then realized is when you start as a coach, it's not easy, because you have this passion and you have these skills, and then it's what? And that's like, now what? So even identifying the sort of people you want to work with, organizing the structure of your program, and then there's all the things like setting up the business, what forms and professional indemnity insurance do I need, social media strategies, it goes on and on and on. And every single one of these coaches working on their own is reinventing the wheel. So what I did with this hub, it's grown just so beautifully, is it started as a way I brought in one other person to help with the strategies, help people just build simple landing pages, maybe get branding and logos. And since then, though, it's just grown where all these people are coming on board because they recognize how important it is for community. And so I have bookkeepers and accountants coming on board. I have PR and branding experts. I have automation, like marketing automation experts. I have all these different people coming in, conflict resolution, da 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 da. And the whole idea with Catalyst is it is a community. So once a month, we all meet as peers and talk about, and it's not just transformation coaches. There are maths tutors and yoga teachers and nutritionists, anyone who's helping people transform, basically. And what happens is they come together, and it's a place to talk about your work. It's like a bit like the water cooler. What do you do when you have a client who keeps running late or doesn't show up? What do you do with a client that you think isn't telling you the truth all the time? What do you do if someone's not paying? And just that sort of professional peer. And then the second meeting of the month is where these expert masterclasses happen, so that these people get the knowledge that often you can't afford in those first couple of years and you really need. And then as their businesses scale, they can then connect with these people outside of Catalyst and pull them in to do their work. So that's the platform. It's so that I just want to spread the light and love further and further, basically.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So a lot of people start from scratch and they don't know how the business is going to look like. All they know is those are my skills. I'm ready to help people, but there's usually more involved into, behind the scene kind of structure. And some people get lost and just don't know who can help them, and have an all-in-one kind of solution under your company. Catalyst. I like the name, by the way. It's change. Like you said, I'm making the change and the transformation happen faster. And I think a lot of tools available for all the business owners or practitioners or like health coaches, right? Is something valuable nowadays, where they know they can just know the right, experts or who to ask for help. And with those meetings that you have, it's also like keeping them up to date with what's happening, any question that they might have. And also, I wanted to see where do you think you are growing towards? So what are your plans for the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Let's say 3-5 years from now. You have any plans in mind? Any new ideas to explore?
Of course, absolutely. The ideas keep coming. The idea or the plan is that what happens is that there are local Catalyst people on the ground around the world. All right. So I had, in a visualization, it was really beautiful because I visualize daily as part of a meditation and then visualization. And for whatever reason, the number 637 came up. So I said, okay, I'm going to have 637 coaches working with me to train other and support other coaches, right? Because I do also do one-on-one coaching with coaches, because we all need work, all right? I still get coaching every month I have 2 coaches, for different aspects in my life, because stuff always comes up. Stuff always comes up, whether we're stuck, whether we've got big feelings we can't deal with, whether we've got transference issues with a client, whether we're just really stressed and working too hard and we've lost our focus and perspective. So for me, I see that COVID, I think, exacerbated what was already there. And that was a big disconnect between our head and our hearts, or our head and our bodies. Like, we don't, generally speaking, we are not encouraged to feel our feelings. And when we don't feel our feelings are signposts. And when we don't listen to the signposts, we become really disconnected from what is important to us, and we get lost. And I think COVID really exacerbated that, because we were physically disconnected from people, as well as disconnecting from what's going on for us. And so the need for people to do this transformation work and learn how to reconnect with themselves first and then others is so important. And I really want to support the people who want to do that work, you know, and help others. So yes, and also I see currently what happens is that all of these experts come on board and they do a monthly masterclass. What I would love is to hold 2 and 3 day events where everyone comes together physically in real life.
So at least now we start getting back into physical space together, because even though we have opportunities to connect online on Zoom, but you still cannot replace that human connection, being like, you know, in person with talking and, you know, spreading the knowledge and helping others. You have to feel that energy through communication, through the physical connection. And networking, the master classes, they all like help you to stay up to date and always like learn something new, because it's impossible to know everything. You have to be willing to improve on, you know, everything that you know so far, and add something new to your own like programs, and maybe discover something else along the way, who knows. So with that opportunity that you provide others and support them, I think it's a great way to kind of network together and exchange ideas, to do this mastermind classes, maybe even like group classes. That's great. And
I agree. I was just going to say, magic happens when people all bring their expertise to the one spot.
Right.
Suddenly, all of us lift, you know, and things that it just becomes this beautiful cauldron of ideas and things that wouldn't have happened if we'd just gone and done things off on our own. The community, you know, it creates creativity. You know, it just elevates us all. So that's the most beautiful thing about that. And for all of us, well, not all of us, but a lot of us, we work on our own as coaches. We do it all via Zoom, that there's very little physical interaction. And you're right, you know, during COVID, I ran a lot of the training programs and workshops online. And now we're doing them online and also in person. And while they work online, there's no doubt that they work. There is something really special that happens when you're in person, because when you're online, even though you can see all the faces on the screen, when you're in person, you're aware of energies around you, even if you're not directly looking at them or, you know, connected with them. It's just different. Yeah, it's just different. And it is. It's magical. So I'm looking forward to those. Taking, you know, that around to all of the people who are connected to Catalyst, and bringing people physically together as well, because we need it.
Of course, especially right now with the pandemic times, I think it kind of like forced everybody to, first of all, be faced with your own emotions, your own feelings. You kind of like have more time to connect with yourself first. And now after that, you know, kind of exploration of who you are and the deeper connection to your true self, then you can also make better connection with others, and with the opportunity to network and be coached. Because like you said, coach also need somebody to coach them. It's impossible to be, you know, like knowing it all, and you always have something to improve on, and you're also a human being, like you're dealing with all those issues on a daily basis as a personal part of your life, and you have to kind of like, you know, work through them to make it to be a better personally and professionally, and be able to help others in a better manner, better way, just being the best you can be. And you always have to think about, like, be aware that the work needs to be done consistently to go to kind of like next level of your development. And a lot of people struggling with, finding their own passion in life. They feel sometimes they're not satisfied at what they do, and they feel stuck in their careers. Is there any advice or some simple steps you would recommend them to kind of look into, that they could at least have, a start of exploring the new ideas?
Absolutely. I think the big thing for all of us to recognize is what I call it factual feeling, all right? That our feelings are facts. That our feelings, we are feeling machines. When we everything that we want to do or be or have or achieve, any of that, ultimately it's because of the feeling that it will give us. And yet we spend so long pushing our feelings down and trying to avoid them. And my advice to everyone is that we have such a fear of having a feeling that we will go to extraordinary lengths to try and numb ourselves. And the reality is that people die trying to do that, all right? They said, this is something I'm quite passionate about. People will die trying to avoid a feeling. And yet, honestly, all that feeling a feeling is dropping into your body and feeling what's happening in your body, and grief or shame or guilt or all of these things, or fear, all of these things, if you just feel it and you drop into your body, what it is, it's not there to punish you. It's there to let you know that you are out of alignment with your values. And if you listen to your feelings, what they do is it's like that game, hot, 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 cold, cold, cold. When you're kids and you're moving towards something.
Yeah.
That when you're feeling really flat and low and uninspired, it's because you're making choices that are taking you further away from what lights you up. When you have feelings where you feel really inspired and passionate and happy, there's elements in that are taking you toward what it is that lights your soul. And the invitation is to tap into the feelings and go, well, okay, what is it about this that I love? And it might be something that you're doing that's recreation wise, but if you can get, what it is, I love that sense of possibility. I love that anything can happen. Well, then you go, okay, how can I take that into work? What can I do with work where I can find that aspect? Like for me, I truly wake up every morning going, anything can happen. How exciting, how wonderful. And then as well, obviously, love the process of transformation and making the impossible possible. That's so, and connection, and those things I know are important to me. So whether I am a coach, whether I am a landscape gardener, whether I'm a firefighter, where can I take that into my life? And I think it all starts with listening to our feelings. So that for me, if I could get everyone on the planet to be happy to feel, I think we'd all just, rocket ahead in terms of our pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, that's a great advice. I know it's hard for a lot of people to, allow themselves to feel those emotions, and like you said, drop into your body and just let it be, and make it go through your body the way it should go through. And you only look at it as an indicator of where you on your path. If, like you said, you kind of like leaning against from what exactly you like, or what you're passionate about, you're going to feel this more in terms of a negative kind of feeling. And it's not for you to feel like you're suffering or being punished, but just an indicator to show you that you kind of not on the path that you want to be, that your true self want to be. So, and that's good to know, because people try to numb or escape those feelings and doing something really harmful to themselves without realizing it. And they think by escaping, it will go away, which is not true. You're still gonna come back to the same feeling until you let yourself to feel it all the way through, and then it will eventually become less and less of those negative feelings. But you have to also be aware of what feeling is that, and what it kind of information that it gives you. So be open to listen to your own feelings and just sit with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because honestly, the only way through is through. And I mean, I've had children, I have 4 children, adult children, and one has had mental health issues, one has had really serious addiction issues. And the only way through has been through, right? As a mum watching that, I really had to monitor what was happening here. And for them, ultimately, if you spoke to them now, what has happened, what they have language around how they feel, they have, and that's the most important thing. If I'm trying to explain in great depth how I feel, and the only words I have are happy, sad, and angry, it doesn't give me enough, so that I get really frustrated because I don't have a language to actually use it. So I love, like, Brene Brown has her book Atlas of the Heart. There's a zillion different emotions she speaks about, and that emotional literacy allows us to then just listen to the signposts, which is everything.
Right.
There's no getting away from the feelings.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason. There's a full buffet of feelings. We're meant to feel them all, listen to what they mean, and then change our lives accordingly.
Yes, and that's important to know, so we could recognize it in a different way and start to, deal with them in a certain manner that will be beneficial for us. It will let us feel it and let us to heal as well along the way, and perhaps with the help of coach or somebody that is expert in it, they could guide you through certain techniques to use to not be scared or overwhelmed with what does that mean and how to better manage them. But it could be done, and we just need to know who to reach out for and be willing to change. It all starts with you. If you're not ready or you're not willing, nobody could help you. You have to ask for help, and that's
100%.
important.
You need to ask for help and be willing to make the change. I've worked with thousands of people, and I've never fixed anyone. I can't fix anyone. All right. All I can do is bring these beautiful processes and hold space and go through these processes, and I'm someone who did not feel my feelings. I pushed them down and got on with it. That's what I was taught to do as a child. Push them down and get on with it, right? So for me, speaking now on this side of the fence is a huge turnaround. And I know the power of it, of being able to feel feelings, because I've been the person who just did not, who actually thought the people who felt their feelings were just ridiculous. Like, just push it down and get on with it. They're so unimportant. No. They are so important. They are everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like people to know about how important those feelings are, and maybe in New Year start, if you like making resolutions or goals for the year, maybe start small, but just kind of like make that step and allow yourself to feel through unpleasant feelings, but they will tell you more if you just listen.
100%.
Thank
Absolutely, they
you.
do.
Thank you so much for your wisdom and thoughts. It was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. And
Oh,
we'll be
Anna,
in
thank you
touch.
so much. Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye.
You too.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.